Հարգելի հարազատներ, Caucasus Nature Fund Կովկասի բնության հիմնադրամը ահաբասիկ այդ կազմակերպության Executive Director-ը կորզածիր դնորենը բարոն David Morrison-ը մեզի հետ է եւ մենք արդեն խոսեցանք այն ծրագրի մասին, այն ուրեմն իղծին մասին, որով պետք է այդ շրջանի Կովկասյան շրջանի բազմավիսի կենսատեսակները պահպանելու կամ նույնիսկ վտանգի ենթարկվածները վերականգնելու մասին եւ ահավասիկ հավելյալ մանրամասնություններ հարցերով գործեն թիմել Mr. Morrison-ին եւ պատասխանները վստահաբար մեզ պիտի քիչ ավելի լուսաբանեն. Mr. Morrison, I had the chance to watch a short video about this project. Unfortunately, we didn't have the chance to show it to our viewers, but that's not the point now. I saw there really certain species of animals whom I didn't think that they existed in the area. That's interesting and very interesting. And on the other hand, that negligence that will lead to that economic destruction that you just mentioned will take away a good opportunity and a good chunk of fortune from the area. So it's not a matter of only saving the diversity of life or saving the animal life, it's saving our lives at the same time. Am I right?
I believe that fundamentally. This is not about us versus them, it's about all of us. We're all in it together. If the animals don't thrive, in the end, we won't thrive. So you're right, the diversity there, to be specific, is just fantastic. It's hard to believe. Europeans, when you tell them that on their borders there's a leopard that still roams in the wild, they can't believe it. There are wolves, there are bears, there are fantastic mountain goats, a unique Caucasus subspecies called, by the way, the Armenian mouflon, which is an ancestral sheep. It exists only in Armenia and Azerbaijan, nowhere else in the world. That's the sort of unique life forms that are there. Scientists like to call this by the word endemic. Endemism is the term. And what makes an area so important for the biologists is the level of endemism. And in the Caucasus, there are an astounding number of mammals, about 150 for a fairly small region. That's a lot. 25 of those can only be found there. This leopard that I mentioned is a subspecies endemic to the Caucasus. The plant life, a quarter of all the plants in the Caucasus can only be found in the Caucasus. So that gives you an idea of why it's so important. And it's threatened, as you mentioned. There's a beautiful deer, an antlered deer called the red deer, that is again a Caucasian subspecies of this creature. It exists still in parts of Iran. There are a few in Georgia. There are some in Azerbaijan. Unfortunately, in Armenia, this animal was hunted to extinction already at the time of the collapse of the Soviet Union. But we, as part of our project, will be working on bringing the red deer back to Armenia.
So we're reintroducing it to the Armenian nature.
And in fact, in Dilijan National Park, that's our target. That would be a natural home, was a natural home for the red deer. We'll be bringing the red deer back to Dilijan. CNF is working this year already in 3 national parks in Armenia. Khosrow Forest, in the center of the country, and in the south of the country, Aravik National Park, a new national park, and Shikaho State Reserve. Next year, we'll be expanding into Dilijan, and our goal in Armenia is to be supporting 8 national parks by the year 2015.
So you're talking about only 4 years from now.
4 years from now.
Which is not too long of a time. We will be back, Mr. Morrison, with a couple more questions. Եվ հարկերի բարեկամներ վստահաբար կհետևիք եւ դուք ալ ձեր ղարքին անդրադառնաք, թե որքան կարեւոր եւ դերևս մոռացության դրված մանրամասնություններ կփոխանցեմ մեզի Mr. Morrison-ը, մանրամասնություններ, որոնք պետք է մենք իմանայինք նախքան ուրիշներ, կվերադառնանք կովասներեն հետո։ Գովգասի բնության հիմնադրամը Caucasus Nature Fund։ Ահա այս երեկոյան մեր թեման հարգելի բարեկամներ եւ մեզի հետ է նույն այդ գազագերբության գործադիր տնօրենը, Executive Director, Mr. David Morrison. Mr. Morrison, I learned also that I think it was red leopard or the leopard that you just mentioned before we went for the break. I think there are only 1,500 of them around the world, in the entire world. So that species also is on the brink of extinction. How many are there in Armenia? And what is being done, not only for that leopard, what is being done in this entire area for this entire project, this entire concept of rebuilding the nature that is being destroyed. And by the way, is there any kind of cooperation from local organizations or government organizations with the CNF?
Yeah. To answer the last question first, yes, we are the partner of the governments. Mm-hmm. We're not trying to take over the national parks. We're trying to support the government in running the national parks, help them do a better job running the national parks, bring a little bit of management, a little Western expertise in thinking about a budget.
Why not?
Helping them think about it as a project, not just a hand-to-mouth operation, which it's been up to now. The Caucasus leopard is our symbol. There are about 1,500 left in the world, a highly endangered animal. About 10 in Armenia. Only 10. Fortunately, there is a rather healthy population on the northern border, on the southern border of Armenia in northern Iran. There are maybe 20 or so in Azerbaijan and a few in Georgia. So overall, enough leopards to survive, but we need to protect their habitat. We need to provide these protected areas, these national parks, where they have enough room to roam. So the question of how do we actually implement this project? Again, there are some protected areas. About 10% of the surface of Armenia is protected today. So what we need to do is actually bring them the funding and the know-how to do the job. And that's very practical. That's one of the things that I personally am most thrilled about when I go to these protected areas, to be able to see very tangibly the effect that we can have by bringing something as simple as a Jeep to the protected area, to enable the rangers to go out in a vehicle that functions and do their patrols, to give them a little gasoline so that they can run their vehicles, to buy them some mobile phones so that they can communicate with one another. When somebody sees a poacher, they can call somebody else and get some help. These are very tangible, very basic things. It's not complicated, but it requires...
But a great outcome at the same time.
It's a terrific outcome, and they are so grateful. The last thing I would say that we do that is also one of the most gratifying is bringing some development to the rural parts of Armenia where the populations are so in need. A ranger in one of our parks makes about $100 a month on his government salary. We also provide a little supplement. You're not going to be very motivated to go out and stop that poacher when you're making $100 a month. Even a small supplement from an organization, an international organization like ours, coming to say the world cares about what you're doing out here. The rangers are very, very proud and want to do the right thing, and with a little encouragement are starting to do the right thing.
I guess this last answer was a very subtle way of talking about some problems that the population in Armenia or in the area are suffering from. And we all understand what are we talking about. And that kind of answers the question, the last question that I had in my mind, and that was about know-how. You already answered another part of it when you mentioned rangers. So I guess now there are park rangers. They are tools that are being provided so they do the job better and better over time. One last question now. As the executive director of this great organization, then I should say, how would you evaluate, how would you assess the outcomes over these few years that you've been working on this project?
It's encouraging. There's a lot of work still to do. It takes time. That's one of the things I think that's important to recognize when you're an NGO operating in a developing country. You can't change things overnight. This is a project that was designed to not be a 5-year project, but to be a 25-year project. We're going to be in there supporting these parks for the next 25 years, building slowly their know-how, giving them the material means to do the job. And over time, I'm confident that we can make a difference, make a change. Will require we can't do it alone. We'll require some, as you mentioned, education, some cooperation from the country as it develops as a whole. We don't want to stop development. Development is important. It's important for the people. We have to have intelligent development that takes account of the needs of both the humans and the animals.
And I guess that was the last, but maybe even the most important point you mentioned, education. Everything is related to. Now, the people also have to understand, and I guess that point also is within your scope, within your focus, and if you're already doing that, that's great. I thank you. If not, please, if I may suggest, consider that one more time. And at the end, may I say, Mr. Morrison, thank you very much for not only being here tonight for the project itself and saving the diversity of the life in the area, which will definitely has its impact on the human life in the area and on the entire world. One more time, thank you very much. Եվասպես հարգելի բարեկամներ, CNF Caucasus Nature Fund Կովկասի բնության հիմնադրամի գործադիր տնօրենը Բարոն Դեյվիդ Մորիսոնն էր մեզի հետ այս երեկոյան եւ մեր ուշադրության կենտրոներ Կովկասի եւ հատկապես Հայաստանի բնական յանքի բազմազանության պահպանման հարցը։ Անգամ ևս շնորհակալություն բարոն Մորիսոնին, շնորհակալություն նաև ձեր բոլորին։ Մնացեք խաղաղ, բարի գիշեր։